Hello, Mariah. Hello, Lance. This is Leslie from Trinidad. I must say, congratulations to the selection committee for a job well done. My only regret, unfortunately, I would have liked to see Rutherford and Kerry play in the team, but I guess at the end of the day, you can only carry 15 and so much amount of reserve. Then again, well done to the selectors, and hopefully West Indies will do good at the World Cup. Thank you.
Hey SportsMax, Greg in St. Lucia. Roger Harper and company continue to make this silly blunder in selecting West Indies team. I want Roger Harper to come and explain to the cricketing public, or based on what he select Darren Bravo as a reserve ahead of Shafin Rutherford. Andre Fletcher and Ocean Thomas have no business in this 15-man squad. A better pick would have been Odin Smith or Romari Shepherd, even Kenna Lewis in place of Fletcher because he can wicket keep. These guys overlook Shafin Rutherford and reward Roshan Chase and Ravi Rampal, who all perform in this CPL.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Christopher Peters from Trinidad and Tobago, and I am very much disappointed with that squad. Well, I'm not disappointed. I'm very pleased with the squad via one person, and his fast bowler O'Shane Thomas being picked instead of Akil Hussain. O'Shane has not had a very good summer, and Akil has been playing constantly, even in the CPL currently, and has been very progressive, and to pick O'Shane Thomas in front of him is a disappointment.
Mixed reactions there from our fans reacting to West Indies T20 International World Cup squad, which was announced earlier on Thursday. Without further ado, here's the squad selected by the world champions to defend their title later this year from October 17 to November 14 in the United Arab Emirates and Oman. Karen Pollard at the helm as captain, Nicholas Pooran will suit up as vice-captain, Fabian Allen, Dwayne Bravo, Roston Chase, Andre Fletcher, Chris Gayle, Shimron Hetmeyer, Evan Lewis, Obed McCoy, Ravi Rampal, Andre Russell, Lendl Simmons, O'Shane Thomas, and Hayden Walsh Jr. As of the travelling reserves, we have Darren Bravo, Sheldon Cottrell, Jason Holder, and Akil Hossain. Joining us now to discuss the West Indies World T20 International squad is our international cricket commentator, Fazeer Mohammed. Faz, welcome.
Good to be on the show once again, Mariah.
Thanks, Faz. Of course, I'm starting by asking you, did you see any surprise names in that list?
I wouldn't say outright surprises, but I think as we discussed yesterday, there are so many options available. The only thing is, though, I suppose what you want to see is a measure of consistency, a clear plan from the West Indies selectors. And no one will ever be entirely happy with any selectors anyway. I certainly would not have been anticipating O'Shane Thomas's selection. But again, when you look at his numbers, it isn't for a genuine fast bowler. It isn't always about the numbers sometimes. Sometimes it's about the impact. And again, it can depend on the conditions in the United Arab Emirates, because remember the IPL is also going to be played there. So are there going to be worn, tired pitches that won't really assist the fast bowlers to any degree? Maybe there'll be fresh pitches that are preserved primarily for the World T20. So there are a number of variables there. When you talk about Chris Gayle, for example, even if I didn't have him in my squad, I think everybody recognized that he would have been in the squad anyway, because that the mood of everyone associated with the West Indies team and their attitude towards a Chris Gayle. Ravi Rampal coming back into the team is a message to everyone that it's never over. The last time he played for the West Indies in T20 cricket was 6 years ago. And the fact that he could come back with a strong season that he's enjoying right now is a message to everyone to really not give up. So it's a mixed bag, really, when you look at this West Indies squad to defend that World T20 title.
Faz, Jason Holder and Darren Bravo included in the travelling reserves. How did you read that one?
Surprised that Darren Bravo made it into the reserves, because I was thinking of the likes of Shafin Rutherford and so many other talents that are around. So that was a bit of a surprise. I thought Jason Holder would have made it into the 15 proper. But then again, you've got so many other players competing for opportunities. You've got Andrew Fletcher in the team as well as an opener who can do a bit of wicket keeping. There are numerous opportunities for wicket keepers in that squad as well. So it's about ensuring that you've got that balance of not just power hitting, but players who can manipulate the strike, who can maneuver the ball. And then in the bowling department, you've got a bit of variety there. You've got the pace, you've got the mix-up things from someone like the captain himself, Karen Pollard, you've got Andrew Russell, you've got all the different options that are available to you. And again, with the reserve, the travelling reserve, because of COVID-19, they can't afford to have players flying in because they'll never be able to play. It makes it a greater proximity of anyone being injured, anyone really having some sort of setback that would allow those reserves to come in. So I think the reserves who might be disappointed, Bravo, Cottrell, Holder and Hussain, they think of this as a fantastic opportunity. If it is, and they've got to be ready to take it with both hands. And I talked about the spin as well. Let's not forget Hayden Walsh. He was the man of the series and the triumph over Australia when the West Indies won that series 4-1. So you've got players with confidence, you've got players who with a point to prove maybe as well. So I think it's an interesting squad, a really interesting squad selected by Roger Harper and company.
Yeah, Faz, when I look at the reaction to the squad, checking social media and even a couple of discussions I've had so far today after the squad was announced, a lot of the comments have been very caustic about the selectors and some of the decisions they made. Of course, there are a lot of people who are violently opposed to Chris Gayle going to the World Cup at 42 years old, because that's how old he's gonna be in 2 weeks from now. And Jason Holder's omission, as we just heard one of the voice notes coming in with Darren Bravo there and so on. I'm listening to you though, but you sound very sympathetic, if I may use that word, to the difficulty that the West Indies selectors had in picking this team.
Absolutely, Lance, because I mean, I don't recall any time in my lifetime that there's been universal acceptance of any West Indies squad. This is the nature of the beast. We've had situations when the West Indies, the most dominant force in the game, and you had a situation where the selectors were being abused all the time. So you're never going to please everyone. I think the only concern would be consistency. And I think that's where the Chris Gayle issue comes in. And we discussed it yesterday. As much as I may have my issues about Chris Gayle being in the team, it's obvious that from the captain to the coach to everyone in the team, they want him as part of the team. Whether that is setting the sort of precedent that you want moving forward for West Indies cricket, where someone is being made to seem almost bigger than the game, because it can't be on performance. But again, it is about that right balance, and it will all be proved in the end. Whether or not he contributes significantly, if he is part of a team that successfully defends the title, he will be part of the squad that gets the credit. I feel sorry for someone like a Sherfane Rutherford, because I would have thought that, okay, he might not have made it in the 15, but he might have gotten in among the reserves. So yeah, you are never going to get universal acclaim. And as for those caustic comments, Lance, those are par for the course, as you know only too well, having covered this thing for so many decades. Are so passionate about things that they feel very, very good about it.
Yeah, one of the things that we've got to look at as well is the sort of meager returns that most of our cricketers have displayed in the past year and a half or 2 years in all forms of cricket, but we're talking about T20 cricket now. Because if you look at the top half of the West Indies batting, there isn't anyone displaying the compelling numbers that you could suggest, are so far ahead of Chris Gayle that eliminates Chris Gayle as a contender for this squad.
Absolutely. And that's why it reinforces the point that we had made in earlier discussions, that I think that the West Indies, when it comes to T20 cricket, they're a tournament team. They're not all that big on series and tri-series and whatever once it's outside of a world tournament, for an obvious reason. They are primarily franchise players, IPL, BBL, CPL, and wherever else, England, and so on. So while of course they're never going to say that there's a lack of motivation playing for the West Indies, of course it must mean something playing for the West Indies. But when you're in the year of a World T20, And it's odd that we've had to wait this long. I know, of course, because of COVID, it's 2021 instead of 2020. But we had the tournament in 2016 now, and then we're waiting, and then there's going to be another one next year, I believe. So it's been an odd structure from the ICC. But to answer your specific question, I think West Indies players are supremely motivated for a World T20. Everything else is almost third division, not even second division. And that's why I think the numbers almost, I wouldn't say totally irrelevant because they matter, but they don't necessarily indicate how the West Indies will perform when it comes to the World T20.
Fully understand that, Faz. Thanks for your expert comments as usual. Yeah.
Take care.
Okay, yeah. So, Mariah, Akeal Hussain and Jason Holder were my picks for the West Indies 15 that did not actually make it.
Mine
and
too.
Andre Fletcher and O'Shane Thomas get in when I didn't have them. But there was also a discussion about players failing fitness tests.
Yes.
So some of the names being called about surprising omissions. Roger Harper at the press conference today suggested that a few of them actually didn't meet the fitness requirements.
Definitely, and that's a point I wanted to get in before we ended this segment. Of course, many people asking Roger Harper why Sherfin Rutherford was not included, asking him about Sunil Narine, and he spoke about them not meeting the fitness requirements. So, that of course spilled a lot more questions. People started to ask, well, what's the requirement?
Yeah.
So that's something, Lance, we have to work on. We need to clear that up for the viewers and for everybody who's asking what's the fitness requirement and what exactly, because we do know that exemptions are made for particular players, and he was clear to say that, because somebody jumped in and spoke about Chris Gayle, he was clear to say that, well, of course, Chris Gayle had a medical exemption and his fitness requirement would have been different from the other players. So that's something we have to follow.
Yeah, I must say the reaction that I've seen so far on this team is a little more caustic than I've seen in recent times in when a West Indies team was selected, because as we said, someone like Jason Holder not making this 15 is considered by many people to be pretty shocking. We still have a lot more to come on the SportsMax Zone. At the track to come, plus our CPL review later. We also tell you how our English-speaking Caribbean athletes led by Elaine Thompson-Hira did at the Diamond League finals in Zurich. And if you think the track and field season is over, think again, because we have the World Continental Tour action from Berlin, Germany. That comes up on Sunday live on SportsMax 2. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 Eastern Caribbean time.